Imagine a city at night. The streets are empty, the traffic is gone, the people are inside. And the moment the last light goes out, something begins. Thousands of underground pipes open simultaneously. Pressurized fluid surges through every street, every alleyway, every narrow gap between buildings. It flushes the waste that built up during the day, the debris, the exhaust, the chemical byproducts of a city running at full speed. By morning, the streets are clean, the pipes close, the people come back out, and the city runs perfectly for another day. Your brain does exactly this every single night, and if it misses even one night, the waste doesn't get cleared. It stays, it builds up, and over years and decades, it becomes something far more dangerous than just feeling tired. Today we are going to look at sleep the way Richard Feynman would look at it, not as rest, not as downtime, not as something that just happens while you are unconscious, but as one of the most precisely engineered biological cleaning systems in the known universe. And when you understand what is actually happening inside your skull every night, you will never think about sleep the same way again. Let's start with the physics, with the thing itself. For most of human history, scientists believed the brain had no lymphatic system. The rest of your body has one, a network of vessels that drain waste products from your tissues into your bloodstream to be filtered and removed. But the brain? Nothing. It seemed to be exempt. In 2013, neuroscientist Mike Niedergaard at the University of Rochester discovered something that rewrote textbooks. The brain does have a waste clearance system. It just uses a completely different mechanism, and it only works during sleep. Here is how it works. Your brain is surrounded by cerebrospinal fluid, a clear liquid that cushions and protects it. During the day, this fluid sits relatively still in the spaces around the brain. But during deep sleep, something extraordinary happens. The glial cells, the support cells of the brain, physically shrink by up to 60%, not damaged, not dying, deliberately shrinking, like a city opening its underground pipes. This creates channels between the brain cells, and through these channels, cerebrospinal fluid surges in, flushing through the brain tissue, collecting the metabolic waste products that accumulated during the day and draining them out. What kind of waste? Beta amyloid, tau proteins, the exact molecules that accumulate in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. Your brain every night is flushing out the molecular debris that, if left to build up over years, becomes the plaques and tangles of neurodegeneration. Sleep is not rest. Sleep is maintenance. Feynman would ask the obvious question: what happens if the maintenance cycle is interrupted? The answer is not good. One night of poor sleep increases beta amyloid levels in the brain by approximately 5%. That number sounds small, but repeat it every night for a decade, and the arithmetic becomes frightening. The glymphatic system is not a backup system. It is not optional. It is the brain's only mechanism for clearing these proteins. There is no other pathway. If the pipes don't open, the waste stays. Studies on chronic sleep deprivation, less than 6 hours per night, show significantly elevated beta amyloid and tau accumulation compared to people who sleep 7 to 8 hours, not after years, after weeks. But this is not just about Alzheimer's. The daily effects are immediate and measurable. During wakefulness, your brain burns enormous amounts of energy. Every thought, every decision, every sensory signal processed generates metabolic byproducts. Adenosine, the molecule that makes you feel tired, accumulates in the spaces between neurons throughout the day. It physically slows communication between cells. It is your brain's chemical signal that the system is running hot and needs a reset. During sleep, the glymphatic flush clears the adenosine. The chemical pressure drops, and when you wake, the system is clean, the receptors are fresh, and the brain runs fast again. Caffeine, by the way, works by blocking adenosine receptors. It doesn't clear the adenosine. It just prevents you from feeling it. The waste is still there. The caffeine is a mask. Feynman would find this deeply unsatisfying. You are not energized by coffee. You are temporarily blinded to your own exhaustion. The glymphatic system runs primarily during deep, slow-wave sleep. But the brain has a second process running in parallel, and it happens during REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. It is the stage of sleep where most dreaming occurs, and at the molecular level, it is where the brain does something remarkable. It edits itself. During the day, every experience you have, every conversation, every fact you learn, every skill you practice, creates temporary connections between neurons. The hippocampus, your brain's short-term memory center, holds these connections like a notepad. During REM sleep, the hippocampus replays the day's experiences, rapidly, compressed, out of order, and sends signals to the cortex to transfer the important ones into long-term storage. This process is called memory consolidation, and it is not passive. The brain does not simply save everything, it actively selects. The connections that fired repeatedly during the day get strengthened. Their synaptic weight increases. The connections that fired weakly get pruned, removed entirely to free up resources. Your brain is not a hard drive that fills up. It is a living system that constantly rewrites itself based on what you experienced while you were awake. And it can only do this when you are unconscious. Students who sleep after studying outperform students who stay awake by a significant margin, not because sleep adds time, but because sleep does the actual work of learning. The studying plants the seed, the sleeping grows it. Here is what I find most remarkable about all of this. For most of human history, sleep was considered the passive state. Wakefulness was the active state. You were alive, functioning, productive when you were awake. Sleep was just the off switch. Feynman would have found this backwards. In his lectures, Feynman describes nature as a system that always finds the most efficient path. Light takes the path of least time. Water finds the lowest level. Energy seeks equilibrium. Every process in physics is optimized at some level. Apply that lens to the brain. Wakefulness is controlled damage accumulation. You run the system hard. You burn fuel. You generate waste. You create temporary connections faster than you can organize them. The system runs hot. It is expensive. Sleep is the repair cycle. The cerebrospinal fluid pressure builds during waking hours. This has been directly measured, and releases during sleep. The glial cells shrink on a precise timer. The REM cycles appear at regular intervals, like scheduled maintenance runs. This is not accidental. This is engineering. The brain did not develop sleep as a vulnerability, as something that left our ancestors exposed to predators and the elements for 8 hours every night by accident. Sleep persisted through millions of years of evolution because the cost of not sleeping was catastrophically higher than the risk of sleeping. Whatever killed our ancestors more reliably than sleep, and many things tried, a brain full of beta amyloid and adenosine and poorly consolidated memories killed more. Feynman said the first principle is that you must not fool yourself. And the most common way people fool themselves about sleep is by treating it as lost time, as hours stolen from productivity, as something that can be compressed, hacked, shortened. But the physics does not negotiate. Every hour of sleep you skip is an hour the glymphatic system did not run. Every night of REM you cut short is a night the hippocampus did not consolidate. The debt accumulates at the molecular level, invisible, for years, until it isn't. So tonight, when you finally stop, when you close the laptop, put down the phone, and close your eyes, something will begin. Your glial cells will start to shrink. Cerebrospinal fluid will surge through the channels between your neurons, collecting the debris of the day. Beta amyloid and tau will be flushed into the bloodstream, and filtered out. Your hippocampus will begin its replay, sifting through everything that happened, deciding what to keep and what to delete. And somewhere in your REM cycles, the connections that matter will be strengthened. The ones that don't will be quietly removed. And you will wake slightly different from who you went to sleep as. Not rested, rebuilt. Your brain is not turning off tonight. It is turning on. The maintenance cycle is beginning. And unlike almost everything else your body does, this one you cannot do while you are awake.